Welcome to this edition of the Straight Line. The question that people in South India are asking: what prompted film star AjayDevgn to say that Hindi is the national language of India? Was it sheer ignorance? Or was it something that was to do with a bold streak where he wanted to assert Hindi supremacy? Or was it just a publicity stunt to promote his film Runway 34, which released today? If it was sheer ignorance, one can still forgive him for not knowing the facts that Hindi is not the national language of India. If it was a streak of arrogance to please his political masters, then that is a cause to worry that a film star had to stoop to this level to be in the good books of the ruling party. If it's a sheer political stunt or a publicity stunt for his film Runway 34, which released today, then it speaks volumes about what the fans can see or expect in the theatres as far as the movie is concerned. The reason may be whatever, but the fact that it has triggered a national debate raising the question again about the language Hindi being the national language or just an official language. The fact remains that Hindi is an official language of India along with 21 other languages as per the Constitution's 8th schedule. Before we get into the details of the Twitter banter between KichaSudeep and AjayDevgn, which snowballed not just into an online protest but also protests on the streets of Karnataka, is something that we need to know. But the question that people in South ask: why is it that the powers in Delhi want to impose Hindi on people of South India and East India? There is no doubt that Hindi has the largest following, with 43% of Indians having Hindi as their mother tongue. But there are other languages which are equally important and powerful, be it Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, Bengali, and other languages which have more than 6 to 7% of the people in the states. So clearly this is something which has more to do with politics of it rather than anything more. It may be recalled that the Congress, which burnt its hands in 1965 anti-Hindi agitation in Tamil Nadu when it tried to impose Hindi, has never come back to power in that state. And after that, it is only in 2014 when we saw that an effort was made to make Hindi an important language, which was rebutted not just by AIDMK's Jayalalitha, MDMK and PMK. After that, the BJP had taken a hasty retreat to ensure that it did not impose Hindi for some time. It was only in 2019 that we saw another effort was made when universities funded by the UGC were told very clearly that they would have to teach Hindi. A move which backfired, and that was something which was very strongly criticized in the south, especially in Tamil Nadu. We had seen even film stars like Rajinikanth and Kamal Hassan come out at that time and make their protests very visible. The support that Sudeep is getting for his tweet is something which is remarkable. It shows the kind of pride that Kannadigas are known for, because Karnataka itself has seen several agitations on the language issue, on the water issue, and on the land issue with neighboring states and anti-Hindi protests. This is something where the Kannadigas, irrespective of their political affiliations, are coming together. And that is something which clearly the state is asserting that it will not take things lying down if there is any effort made to impose Hindi on it yet again. There have been some efforts in the past where Hindi has been pushed in through the back door, be it the signboards of the metro rail. While the opposition targeted the BJP, the Chief Minister of the state had to come out in defense of KichaSudeep to ensure that he did not feel he was being left alone. A question that many are asking is whether the success of the South Indian film industry is giving jitters to the Bollywood. A reason why we saw this kind of response coming from AjayDevgn and several other stars in the past. But the fact remains that today The South Indian film industry continues to rule the roost as far as popularity is concerned. Be it the success of Bahubali, RRR, or other movies which have made an impact, or for that matter, Drishyam, which was copied from Malayalam and made by AjayDevgn and got him a back to life kind of a role. Clearly, this is something which Ajay Devgn should have thought of before making any comment about the Hindi language. Whatever may be the reasons, but the fact remains that Hindi is one of the official languages of India apart from 21 other languages and English. And any effort to make one language more popular or impose one language on the others will always face this kind of criticism and attack, especially in South India and East India. A reason why the people who framed the constitution made sure that this equality remained always. Even the Prime Minister of India had always said at that time, no one language will be made more popular than all other languages. A message which still needs to be respected and followed, because this is something which is the culture of India, and we need to learn and maybe spread more languages to each other, but not try to impose. This is Vijay Grover signing off for this edition of The Straight Line with a request to subscribe and share this message.